Hello and welcome. In today's video, we're going to be doing a scene-by-scene analysis of the Stranger Things Season 5 teaser, and we are also going to be doing possible theories, scene breakdowns, character breakdowns. So in the comments, do feel free to comment anything you want. Make sure to comment theories. That'll be great, and we can all discuss theories in the comments. But yeah, let's get into it. So as we can see, we open the trailer with Steve, which is great to see. Steve is my favorite character. And Steve appears to be located within a van, which is right outside the new setting of a Radio Shack. So as we can see, Steve's looking at the roof. He's obviously fixing and adjusting this. So as we can see soon, that Steve is adjusting a satellite. Yeah, here we can see the satellite. Steve would appear to be in his car adjusting the satellite, so moving the satellite so they can get frequencies and communicate with each other. The group can communicate. And Steve is outside the new radio setting, we can see here. And we can see bikes here. So we know from Yoon in the trailer that these bikes would be Mike and Lucas's bike. Yeah, so here we can see Steve adjusting for the right frequency to allow the group to communicate with one another on the radio. And this is followed by the group. As we can see right here, we have the bikes from before that were there. We have Lucas and we have Mike. And we do also have a character here. I'm not too sure who that character is, but she or he is watching them off. So we have Lucas and we have Mike. They are following Steve's car. Here we have Nancy, we have Robin, we have Eleven, and we have Will. And Joyce is also here. She is right here. This is Joyce. And Joyce is working with the radio to talk with them. And here we have the burn. This burn seems to be something very important within the trailer. We know that Lucas is the one calling in the burn. So this burn would be something very serious because we can see the distressed look on the character's face. We can see Joyce here, her eyes raised, her mouth open, her facial expression. She does appear to be acting quite stressed and anxious. So this burn would be something very important. I'm assuming this burn would possibly be something linked to burning something in the Upside Down. It could be burning vines. It could be possibly trying to burn Vecna, Demogorgon. This burn would be something serious. Here we have Robin and we have Nancy. They as well appear to be quite very stressed, same as Joyce, as we can see from their facial expressions. Both their eyes appear to be quite distressed. Here we have Will and we have Eleven. Will looks to be stressed. Same with Eleven. Eleven looks at Will quite concerned. Will is looking down. He just looks anxious. He looks worried. Here's Lucas for the first time appearing in a different setting from before. Lucas is counting down from the burn. As we can see, he's saying 4 and he has 4 fingers up. So Lucas is the one actually signaling to the group about the burn, and we don't know where Lucas is located at the moment. We don't know if we don't know if he's with Mike, because as we saw from before, he could be possibly with Mike and Steve, as before we know that they were separate from the other group. They were the ones in the radio tower, so this could possibly indicate that Lucas could be with Mike and Steve, and they are all counting the burn. And I'm not too sure at the moment what Lucas is looking at through his binoculars, but it could possibly be another character signaling for them that they are clear to commence the burn. So we can see him counting down here. And here we have a new setting. We have, it looks to possibly be a nuclear bunker or a bunker just to keep people safe. This could possibly be a new setting within the military base in the center of Hawkins. So we see a girl here, and we see a lot of children as well. So now she's looking up at the top. And as we can see here, they are looking and they look stressed. Most of them are all gathered around the corner of the room. And we can see the lights are flickering. So flickering lights, we already know means it's to do with the Upside Down. So this could possibly mean we have Vecna attacking, we have Demogorgons. It could be something to do with that. Yeah, and we have obviously the boy looking distressed as Lucas is still counting down. So yeah, we have Hopper's first look. Hopper has a big beard this season. And yeah, so we can see here, these characters all look quite distressed. We can see the lights are flickering as Will looks in the back. And we can see Will here. He has goosebumps on his neck, so we know that Will has a connection with the Upside Down after getting lost in the Upside Down in season 1. Will has a deep connection to Vecna, and to the Upside Down he can like feel and sense things. So we know it through his goosebumps on his neck. So that means something possibly could be happening currently during this scene in the Upside Down. It could possibly be Demogorgons, Vecna attacking. It could be anything to do with the Upside Down. Yeah, so here we have characters on a bike. We have 3 of them, and we have the military. So on the bikes, it appears to be Mike in front, we followed by Will, and this could also possibly be Holly Wheeler, who was recast in season 5 as she would have a much bigger role. And she is following the 2 of them on their bikes as they are next to military trucks and also helicopters. Now, something interesting about this scene actually is that we have all these characters going in a different way. We have the military going the complete opposite way of the children on the bikes, and we have the helicopters going the complete opposite way as well. So it appears the military could be quite spread out through Hawkins. Yeah, as mentioned before, here we have the military base in the center of Hawkins. We have military personnel, we have trucks, we have cars, we have all of that stuff. And here we can see, I don't know if you guys can see at the moment, but here we have a gateway to the Upside Down, a portal. You see the red here. And we'll show it in just 1 second. But yeah, this is the center of Hawkins. This is the Hawkins town square. This is the library that the gateway is connected to in season 4 when we had the 4 deaths. We had the portals being split, and this was where the portals met. So this is the center portal. Yeah, here it is, the center portal, followed by military personnel, and they all have camouflage and guns, and they look to be guarding the Upside Down. The portal, as we saw from here, we have the military base and the portal being blocked out to the public, and we have lots of safety and guarding, so they don't want people getting near that. Here we have Dustin at Eddie's grave. Dustin and Eddie were very close to each other, so Eddie was a massive loss for Dustin. So Dustin would definitely be in mourning of Eddie. Dustin will be very sad that Eddie is dead. So he'd be just paying his grave a visit, maybe talking to him, giving something to him.
After what we've been through.
Here we have Lucas and we have Max. And we can see on the wall here that is the cinema date that Lucas was talking to Max about, that they agreed to go on in season 4. And as you can see, Max is still in a coma. We have a radio here, and Lucas holds her hand.
Just think.
He's crying. Lucas crying here, I do not believe that he is crying because Max is dead. I believe he is just crying because he's overwhelmed with emotions. Of course he's sad. He's mourning Max, as Max is still in a coma, and he's grieving Max's health and safety. So I do not believe that he is crying because Max has died. I do not believe Max is dead. Max is just in a coma, and he is just sad. So he's the radio movie, and we have, it looks to be, we don't know who these people are, but I'm assuming these are possibly military related, and they have flamethrowers. I would assume to be damaging Demogorgons or Demodogs. They look to be burning the portal, actually. So maybe this is the burn for what Lucas was counting down. This could possibly be the burning something to do with the Upside Down. It could be veins, it could be something. This could possibly be the scene of the burn, or it could just be something completely different. Here we have a first look at Joyce and Hopper together, actually. They look to be in Hopper's cabin in the woods. And here we see characters actually in Hawkins' lab in the Upside Down. Now we know this is the Upside Down, as we can see from the low-key lighting, the darkness. We can see the veins as well, and it's just very dark, and the lab is covered in veins. In vines. So we can see Dustin here. We can clearly distinguish Dustin from his fluffy hair, and he has the hat on as well. He's a backpack, and he's with 3 other characters. Yeah, so here we can see the characters. That is Steve, Jonathan, Nancy. They all have flashlights on. They all look to be looking up at the lab. As we know, the lab is very important in the setting. That is where the official first portal opened up for the Upside Down. So they could possibly be going to have a look for that portal. And here we have the original group of boys, the original party, putting their hands in,
together,
forming a team. Like, this could possibly be a plan to have in the middle. Yeah, as you can see, this is a map of Hawkins. The boys could be setting up plans to do with the military or something. As we can see, there's a little military car there. And we can also see here, you have a dice. This dice could possibly mean they were just playing Dungeons and Dragons, and they're forming a plan. First look at 11 and Mike. They do appear to be in Hopper's cabin, and 11 is in a swimming suit, so that could possibly mean she is going to be getting immersed in the water.
Forever.
Here we have Jonathan, and we have Nancy. Nancy appears to be crying. She has tears in her eye. Jonathan appears to be
forever
sad as well. So something could have happened that made both these characters sad. It could possibly be a death of somebody. It could be that they are very worried or stressed. I'm not sure at the moment. We have 11 for the day down there. This here is a very cool scene. So we do see a character. People are theorizing or saying that this is a younger version of Will, and this could be very possible, as we do know from Stranger Things Day last year that they did release the opening script, and we know that it is a young Will singing. So we do know that we are going to be seeing or hearing a younger version of Will in season 5, and this right here could very possibly be the younger version of Will. So we could be getting more of a backstory to do with Will in season 1 and what he was actually doing in the Upside Down. So if this here is Will, we originally theorized or thought that Will was just hiding the full time in the Upside Down. We don't actually know what he was doing in the Upside Down. So here we can see if this is Will, he's quite possibly climbed a tree. So he was possibly hiding on top of a tree from this Demogorgon, and he's jumping to the other tree while the Demogorgon tries to catch him. It is a really amazing shot here, we can see, as there is red lightning in the sky. As we know, that happens in the Upside Down, and Will is jumping, or that is possibly, we assume this character here is a younger version of Will from season 1, jumping across the tree. And here we have military personnel, and here we have the new character. This is actually the new character, someone to do with the military, and we can see in the background as well that there is an emergency sign going off. This could possibly mean there is Demogorgons, there is Vecna, something to do with the Upside Down is happening, or something bad, or it could be a break-in, it could be anything. We can see the characters in front of her, they have guns in her hands. She looks very serious, she looks very mean, angry, serious. Look at that sharp look on her face, and she's having a gun in her hand. Here we have Hopper and 11 together. In the Upside Down, we can see from the strands in the sky and the low-key lighting darkness. And this is a very interesting thing. I'm not too sure what this could be, but it does look to be a massive wall, like a massive wall of vines, and there's lots of vines, and we can see that these characters here are Hopper and 11, and they are looking, they're pointing she's pointing her torch at this thing here. This, I'm not too sure what this is, but this could possibly be the end of the Upside Down. Maybe the Upside Down actually does have a border and it ends. Maybe the Upside Down only only is about Hawkins, and maybe this is the border of Hawkins and the Upside Down, and maybe this is the border and the end of the Upside Down, or it could just be a massive building just engulfed by the veins. We're not too sure what this thing is. Here we see something very interesting. We see, it looks to be, I want to say, that is Nancy's hair, and that could possibly be Jonathan. They would appear to be in the Upside Down, as we can see from all the redness and the lightning. They're looking up at something very interesting, actually. This could be a portal. This could be the Mind Flayer. Leave your theories in the comments as to what this is, actually. This is a very interesting shot, very cool. Look at, and here we have Dustin. So Dustin was just looking through binoculars at something, and we can see that he actually has injuries on his face, and Steve is right behind him. They both appear to be looking up at something. As we know from before, Dustin was looking up with the binoculars, and Steve looks up as well. So Dustin is full of injuries. We can see he has black eyes. We can see he has blood on his lips. He has bruises all over his face, on his cheeks, on his nose. So Dustin would have possibly gotten into a fight with somebody, or he could have been attacked by something. Maybe a Demogorgon, maybe a Demobat. We do not know yet. They both appear to be looking. So here we have the setting I would assume to be the hospital. We see there's lots of towels or something here. We see there's a Demodog here. Crawling around. There's two Demodogs actually crawling around. We see the light flickering. Yes. So here we have a nurse on the left of Lucas. Lucas, who is covering and protecting Max's body, who we know that Max is in a coma, and they are being attacked by a Demodog here. And Lucas looks to be terrified as he is holding on for his dear life to Max's body. He looks to be protecting Max from the Demodogs in the hospital setting, as we know from the nurse next to them. Here we have 11, who is screaming as sirens or lights flash in the background. Hopper looks at her very concerned. She appears to have just used her powers. As we can tell, her nose is bleeding. She is very distressed, very anxious, very angry. She's screaming. We have military here. We have a lot of dead bodies surrounding the military. We see dead bodies here, dead bodies here. They all look to be shooting at something particular. They all are looking in the same direction. All their guns are aimed in the same place. Here we have 11's body lying on the floor with Hopper ducking for cover, protecting 11's body. As we can see, there's lights in the distance. This could possibly be bullets being shot through a wall. This could be gun lights of guns, the lights of something. But Hopper is protecting 11's body. Maybe 11 has fainted after overusing her powers. There we have Steve driving in the car with Jonathan behind him. We can see there. And Steve appears to be driving straight through the portal or the gateway to the Upside Down, just hammering it with his car. And here we see Joyce, we see Robin, and that would appear to be Will. And we also do see somebody standing on the second level, and this appears to be within a barnyard, a farm setting. We see the lights flickering, which obviously means something is going to attack them, as we know from all the characters looking in the one particular direction, and Joyce is actually holding an axe in her hand. They all look in fear, and as we can see right here, in the barnyard, the Demogorgon has completely burst through the door. We see a Demogorgon, and we also can see this van. So if you remember from the earlier on in the trailer, this could possibly be a van from the Radio Shack. This could possibly be the van that Steve was driving, but we are not 100% sure at the moment. And we can see here that Will is actually fainting, and he hits his head right hard on the floor. So we do know that Will does have a connection to the Upside Down. Maybe Vecna is attacking Will. Maybe he is being attacked. Maybe he's fainted from fear. And it does appear to be, he could possibly be fainting, or maybe he is being pushed over by something. Maybe he could be getting hurt or injured. We have Nancy with her gun again. Nancy does use guns a lot, and she's very good with the shotgun. And we have Nancy and Jonathan looking up at something, pointing the gun at something, possibly shooting a Demogorgon. And here we have a big truck that is being completely jumped on by a Demogorgon. So here, this is the normal Hawkins. This is not the Upside Down. This is possibly Hawkins. And we have the Demogorgon in Hawkins, or in the main world, not the Upside Down. So we know already that Demodogs and Demogorgons are in the main world, not the Upside Down, not just the Upside Down. Yeah, so this is jumped right onto the truck. And it's going to try to pull its way through the roof. And here we see Mrs. Wheeler, we have Karen Wheeler, and we have, for those of you who don't know who this is, that she is hugging and protecting in the water. This is actually Mike's sister, Holly Wheeler. If she's not familiar to you, that is because she has been recast, because Holly Wheeler does have a bigger part within this season. So they look terrified. They are engulfed in water. Mrs. Wheeler is grabbing onto Holly for her dear life. They are both terrified. And we can also see here, so we have Mrs. Wheeler. This is one of Mrs. Wheeler's arms. And we also have another arm here. So this could possibly be another character's arms. As we can see here, that this character is wearing a woolen sweater that is green. This could be another character as well. This could possibly be a character trying to pull them out of the water, maybe pushing them down in the water. But they both look very distressed. So this could even maybe possibly be the arm of Holly Wheeler. I am not too sure at the moment, but I do not think so, as we can see here that she has a yellow and pink jumper or shirt on, and this character here has a different color, which is green, and we know that Mrs. Wheeler has sleeveless, so we can see her skin, but this character is wearing something different. So we're not too sure what this scene is, but I reckon this scene will be very big. As we know from one of the episode titles, it is called The Vanishing of Something Wheeler. So this could be Holly Wheeler. So Holly Wheeler could be vanishing. She's under the water. We can also see while they're under the water, the lights appear to be flickering, which means it would possibly be something Upside Down related. Maybe Karen or Holly is being attacked by Vecna. This could possibly be a trance by Vecna. Maybe they're hiding from Vecna under the water. They could be hiding from a Demogorgon under the water.
Wherever this
Here we have Robin.
blood leads.
And she is looking up at the radio tower. This is the radio tower, I am assuming. Yeah. This is possibly the radio tower. This could be maybe something military related even. But we see a very tall structure. This could either be the military radio tower. It could be something like that. But we see that is the Mind Flayer. Yes, that is the Mind Flayer. We see the Mind Flayer. It is just moving around now. We know the Mind Flayer. And we also know that in Russia, from season 4, Russians were actually having the Mind Flayer, and they were making Demogorgons in their lab, which is not good. So here, this is quite worrying actually. This is the hands of Nancy Wheeler, and she's covered in blood. She is crying. And this could possibly be the hospital she's in. She's washing her hands. She's just crying, just in tears. We can see she has a ring on. She has blood all over her hands, which could possibly mean the death of a character. It is very possible, as there's blood in her hands. Maybe a character or person died in her hands, and she appears to be crying. She looks very sad. She looks very sad. Or maybe she could have possibly killed the Demogorgon with the shotgun. As we know, she had a shotgun from before. She could have killed somebody with a shotgun. Now, we're not sure why she's crying at the moment, but it could be the death of a character, or maybe she's very stressed or anxious or overwhelmed, but she is crying. She does look very sad.
I need you to fight.
Here we have Will. So Will is closing his eyes here, and we have Steve here. Steve, who is hugging onto Dustin, who Dustin looks very sad. He looks very worried for Steve. Maybe Steve just survived something, and Dustin was worried that Steve would die as well, like Eddie. But Steve is thankfully not dead at the moment in the trailer. I really hope Steve does not die. So we have 11, and we have Hopper in a setting. This looks to be like a military or lab-like type setting, and we have Hopper holding a gun, 11 looking at something, both of them are looking at something. As the lights are flickering, so we have a lot of flickering lights this season, which means a strong upside down presence.
Let's end this, kid.
We have Hopper giving 11 a pep talk, actually. Yeah, so this could possibly actually be from before. As we see, this is 11 he's talking to. She is wearing the looks to be a hazmat suit that is very reflective of silver. Yeah, so here, as we can see here, these two characters are doing the burn. So it could possibly be Hopper and 11 who are commencing the burn, trying to end the upside down, close the portal. 11 is going down in water, and we know what 11 can do while she's in the water. She can view things, or she did that in season 4 where she stopped Max from getting killed by Vecna, and she was fighting Vecna while in the water. Hopper here, he is throwing what appears to be grenades at characters who did get hit by grenades. And here we have Will, and does that look to be the hands of Vecna? We can see a possible fingernail here, and we know Vecna's skin is very scaly and very, rotten, so this could very possibly be Vecna's hands grabbing the head of Will, who we can see screaming. He looks terrified. His eyes are bloodshot, he's sweating. This could possibly be maybe even vines that are surrounding Will, or it could even be Vecna. Here we have Holly Wheeler. Holly. So Holly looks terrified. Holly's looking at something. We have Lucas, who looks terrified. He's on the floor. He's possibly fallen over, and we can also see blood on his shirt here. So that could mean somebody has died near him. It could mean he has got blood from a Demogorgon or from something, or maybe he has been stabbed, maybe he's been scratched, maybe he's been injured and he's bleeding, because we know he's on the floor, so he could be possibly fighting something, but he looks terrified. Very quickly, here we have our first look in the trailer at Murray. So Murray is with Robin here, and we do remember this truck in the background. This is the truck from before that the Demogorgon actually jumped on top of, so it's possible that maybe Murray and Robin were the ones in the truck that were getting attacked by the Demogorgon. Here we have a car just hammering through the houses and just smashing through people's backyards, and this is smashed through a fence. We can see a satellite on this, so this could possibly be used for radio frequencies. We can see here you have people jumping through the woods. This could be characters jumping. They look to be in the woods. Here we have Nancy with 11, and they look very distressed. You can see them changing frequencies for the radio. We have a character's eyes. This could possibly be Will's eyes. Will's looking through something. And here we look to have characters in like a tunnel. And if you remember from season 2, there was tunnels from the Upside Down with the Demodogs digging and burrowing underneath Hawkins, which led to the lab. And we do know that Demodogs are back within season 5, as we've seen them earlier in the trailer in the possible hospital setting, where they would look to be attacking or trying to find Max, the nurse, and Lucas. So this could very possibly be a sign that the tunnels are back in season 2. And we can see that there is obviously characters in the tunnel. This radio seems to be very important. The use of radios and frequencies seems to be very important within season 5, as we know, because radios are very important within Stranger Things. The kids use it to communicate with each other, and radios are important to communicate and transmit frequencies. Here we have our first look at Erica. Erica, who is Lucas's sister, is holding a needle. So we are not sure what this needle could possibly be doing, but we know that needles can put people down. As we know from season 2, when Will was possessed by the Mind Flayer, they used a needle to put Will to sleep. Maybe this could be something to put somebody to sleep. Maybe somebody's possessed. Maybe we're not too sure. Here we have the junkyard from the scrapyard from season 1 and season 2. We have 11 who is in this setting, and 11 appears to be having some sort of like really high jumping powers. 11 can really high now. Wow. So here we have, this looks to be the military setting, as you can see lots of military guards and personnel holding guns, looking upwards to something that has leaped out of the floor from a folded upside down. This looks to be a Demogorgon. Yep, that is a very obvious Demogorgon who is looking to attack the military personnel. We have here, so here we can see that this is possibly the military base. We have the bodies of dead soldiers on the floor. We have lots of mess, and we have Joyce looking backwards at something. She looks scared. She looks worried. She looks to be looking at someone. And we have here on the floor, we have these are quite likely, very likely to be Will's legs. These are possibly very likely to be Will's shoes. So this is most definitely Will on the floor, and Will could have fainted. This could possibly be the scene where Will has fainted and Joyce is looking back at somebody, looking at something worried. The lights are flickering from the truck, and she does appear to be looking back at Mike, so she could possibly be looking at Mike, or maybe all these characters are actually looking at something. It could be Vecna, it could be Demogorgon, it could be something attacking them. But yeah, could possibly be Vecna they're looking at. This could possibly be right after. All the characters could be looking at Vecna emerging from the gate. So we can see Vecna is very different this season. Vecna was very weak at the end of season 4 after he was attacked by the characters, but he looks very different. He looks more entangled in vines. His skin looks more rotten. He looks quite different. But that was our first look at Vecna, which is very cool to see.
Found you.
So here we actually have the voice, if you listen to it, of Vecna saying "found you." It could be to 11, it could be to somebody else, but it's probably 11 Vecna is talking to. Vecna could be talking that he found 11. Yeah, so here we have Vecna. Look at the back of his skin. This is an incredible new look at Vecna. He looks very different. He could also very possibly be way more powerful than he was in season 4, and he looks to be moving the fire or like deflecting fire being thrown at him. This could possibly be the flamethrowers being used at Vecna, possibly. Maybe this is the burn that they were talking about in the beginning. Vecna is deflecting this, or maybe possibly pushing the fire onto someone. But it looks like he's deflecting it. Very awesome hero. Image. And it is the final season, which is very sad. But this Stranger Things does come out in 3 parts. We know first is November the 26th, which is volume 1. Volume 2 is Christmas Day. And volume 3 is New Year's Eve. Yep, the finale of Stranger Things, which is extremely, extremely exciting. So that is the end of the Stranger Things 5 official teaser, and the end of the recap. So thank you so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you want, and feel free to comment, like the video, share this video, comment any theories, and I will try my very best to respond to any theories. And thank you all very much for watching. Bye.